won that race back in February, so we'll see.
Well, we don't have superstitions in this.
No, not much.
You could argue back and say it wasn't a snoozer to the Jarretts, I'll tell you.
Well, no.
A lot of fun.
I'm kidding. Now, Jeff Gordon, remember, has not had a top 5 finish since his win at Charlotte last October.
He is currently running in 19th position, started 23rd.
And he has yet to have a top 25 finish at this racetrack. As he said in the pre-race show, this track has just not been kind to him. He's run well, just hasn't finished well.
Turn 4 has been pretty bad for him. Both wrecks that he's had here were right off turn 4.
There you saw Bobby Hamilton just went a lap down.
And going into the pits is Ken Schrader. This would be an unexpected stop for Schrader. Going to put at least right side tires on his Pontiac. As you watch, second place Mike Skinner on your left and third place Bobby Labonte to the right. They are 0.7 of a second behind race leader Rusty Wallace. Schrader away, but he's going to lose a lap with that pit stop.
Yeah, there goes the lead car by the start-finish line down into turn 1. So, yeah, he's a lap down just by making that pit stop.
They're running around the track now in between 29 and 30 seconds. And they can make a pit stop in about 16 seconds. But when you slow down and get your speed back up, it's impossible to make a stop and not lose a lap.
Battle for 10th place, Jeremy Mayfield. And Terry Labonte. Now here's Wallace about to lap Rick Mast, the new driver for A.J. Foyt. Mast had been contracted to Larry Hedrick in the 41 car, but here he is in A.J.'s car. He's been signed by A.J. for the season. Mike Bliss started out the year, and then Dick Trickle aboard. For more on Rusty Wallace, let's go to Bill Stevens.
Well, Mike, we already noted that they came in on that last pit stop and got 2 tires. However, they may be paying the price. Robin Pemberton, the crew chief for Rusty, just told me that car is getting tight now. Rusty is turning the steering wheel. The car does not want to respond as it should. So they got the track position they wanted, but now they're hoping for that yellow flag so they can get him in and make the adjustments Phil needs.
Second place is heating up. Here comes Labonte closing in on Mike Skinner's second position. It's still Ford, Chevy, and Pontiac in the front 3 spots here in Texas. CBS Sports coverage of the DirecTV 500 continues after this message and a word from your local CBS station.
CBS Sports coverage of the DirecTV 500 is sponsored by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR. Hey, race fans, this Bud's for you. Nextel, how business gets done. And by Pep Boys, cars like us, people love us.
How unpredictable is Texas Motor Speedway? Of the top 7 drivers right now, 5 of them have never won a Winston Cup race. Mike Skinner in 2nd, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 4th, Johnny Benson in 5th, Matt Kenseth in 6th, Kevin LePage in 7th. Only leader Rusty Wallace and the man you're riding with, Bobby Labonte, know the way to victory lane in this division.
Boy, if I was ever to run another race, I'd love to have a car that would stick to the bottom like Bobby Labonte's car was in turns 3 and 4 just then. That car looks like it's on a string, right down on the white line, picks the throttle back up, never moves off that white line.
Fastest man on the racetrack, buddy, is Jeff Burton. He is up to 10th after starting 37th. First round qualifying, didn't get fast enough. Second round rained out, so he had to take a provisional start. He's gained 28 spots. His crew chief, Frankie Stoddard, started out as a youngster in the pits, watching whatever Butch Elms did to his car at Little Quarter-Mile Dirt Bear Ridge Speedway in Vermont. To find out how Stoddard got from there to here, you'll have to pick up the inaugural issue of Dick Berggren's new magazine, Speedway Illustrated. Great story on Frankie Stoddard, and that'll be on newsstands May 1st.
You saw Bobby Labonte take over 2nd place from Mike Skinner.
Yeah, that car is very, very good. Talking about the 99 car, though, they spent last year just setting up for the race. They didn't worry about qualifying. They started in the back so many times that they're good at this. They can work their way to the front.
Certainly nothing new for them.
67 laps complete. For more on Labonte, here's Ralph.
Mike, the last few years we've come here to the Texas racetrack, we've had trouble getting happy hour in. That's that final 1 hour of practice that takes place on Saturday afternoon. Gives the teams a final shot at setting up their race car. Crew chief Jimmy Maycar and driver Bobby Labonte decided they would take the Saturday morning session and make that their happy hour. They threw a handful of setups at their race car and got a good baseline for the race setup, so that when they were a little loose in and a little tight off in the early running of this race, they knew what to do. They put on 2 tires, made a wedge adjustment, raised the track bar up 2 rounds, and now Bobby's got a great handling car, as noted by Buddy Baker, and he's charging to the front.
That didn't just benefit Bobby, Ralph. It also benefited Tony Stewart. You're riding with Stewart, who is now 19. Maycar and Stewart's crew chief Greg Zipadelli share an awful lot of information. And Stewart, who started 38, has now halved the gap between his starting spot and the lead. He's 19. Now Earnhardt got a little boxed in there.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon went around him as they came up on Darrell Waltrip, who now has gone a lap down, and an unscheduled pit stopper a little bit early, maybe not unscheduled, is Johnny Benson in the pits here, was running in the top 10.
Bill?
There, yeah, that's exactly right. This is why James Ince was so concerned before. This is more a stop for fuel than it is for tires, but while they have him in, they want to get more new tires on that race car and get him out, but under green, that cost him.
It's going to cost him at least a lap, Bill. At the time of his stop, Benson and Bill Elliott were the only single-car teams represented in the top 20, and now Benson will drop a lap back to at least 35th place.
Now, what he does not want to see is a caution right now, because he's really in the hole right now, and he'll have to drive his way out of it, but he certainly does not want to see a caution on the speedway.
Well, the others will have to make a pit stop within 15 or 20 laps, and certainly, or maybe even a little bit less than that.
Second place, Dale Earnhardt Jr. underneath Mike Skinner. Third place, excuse me. Third place. We still have Wallace in front and Bobby Labonte in second.
And he's closing. Bobby Labonte is closed right up on Rusty. They came up on a couple of cars running side by side right in front of him. Bobby was gaining a little bit each lap, but now that really allowed him to get right up on Rusty's, almost on his bumper. As they put a lap on Brett Bodine there in the car number 11.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how good the car is up out of that bottom part of the racetrack. We know he's lightning fast around the bottom. Bobby looked very quick on the high side of the racetrack also.
Now they're going to work underneath the 41, Gary Bradbury, making his return to Winston Cup Racing, driving for Larry Hedrick. His first start since Rockingham.
Bobby Labonte likes that a little bit better than having to go on the outside. Bobby, of course, the NASCAR Winston Cup points leader going into this race. He'd like to get up there and pass Rusty Wallace and get those 5 bonus points. And boy, they work hard for that 5 bonus points, because they add up as the year goes on.
Oh, yeah. Championships have been won by bonus points.
So Rusty Wallace leads Bobby Labonte by a narrow margin. 73 laps are complete as they try to tame the asphalt frontier.
If you have the reins on him, if you're spotting for him,
How business gets done.
At the Texas Motor Speedway, only one caution thus far in the event as we check the race summary. 79 laps have been completed, 115 miles, and at the present time, Bobby Labonte has pushed that car out in front of Rusty Wallace, who's been fighting for second place, and looks like he's losing that right now to Dale Earnhardt Jr. Let's join right now with Mike Joy and the guys in the booth.
Pit stops have begun. Ken, Stacy Compton has just been in. Scott Pruitt for a second time, and now Ward Burton is making his first green flag pit stop of the day. Bobby Labonte has taken the lead, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. to second. Here's Rusty Wallace, though, on pit road. As soon as Wallace surrendered the lead, in he came. Let's check first with Dick Berggren.
Well, Ward Burton is going to be coming in because the handle has absolutely gone away on that race car. They think he may have a tire going down. They're also ready to put a rubber in the right rear spring of that car. This is going to be a long pit stop as a result of the work that they are in the process of doing. Let's go to Bill.
Rusty Wallace halfway through his pit stop, 4 tires, another pound of air in the right rear. They were going to make a chassis adjustment, but called it off. Filled the car with fuel, and he gets out a very good pit stop for Rusty Wallace.
Brett Bodine is